So it can no longer be put off. Don't get me wrong. I love a good blank slate. I love a good fresh start to a new year. I've always had a journal, but I discovered what a bullet journal was and started a bullet journal, I would say probably end of 2019, going into 2020, and have had a journal dedicated to bullet journaling ever since. The journals have looked different every year because I've discovered different things that work for me. My bullet journal for the past 2 years has been pretty steady. The spreads are pretty similar. I found a good balance between creative and fun, yet simple and practical. And it is now time to set up for 2024. I haven't done any drafts in the actual journal yet, just because I'm nervous. The only forethought that I have at this point is what spreads I want to include and the order of the spreads I want to include. In terms of what those spreads actually look like, I don't know. Exactly. I mean, I have a rough idea. Some spreads are pretty straightforward. Some spreads are really only one way to go about it. But today, we can put this off no longer. This was pretty much the only A5 journal left in stock. This is the journal. Listen, I'm not a big fan of the checkered pattern. That's neither here nor there. This is the box it comes in. This is the journal. It's got kind of like a denim blue look to it, and I do like that. However, there is a bit of wrinkling in the cover, which again doesn't really affect the journal. It just affects the aesthetics. Regardless, I do like it a lot, and I'm excited to start using it. The only thing that's in there right now is the list of spreads to start. But I think the first step is going to be sketching every spread out first, every single one, making sure I'm happy with all of them before I start using pen, because I feel like it's inevitable that I mess something up. And while that's not the end of the world, it is annoying. And the best way to prevent that is to just plan it out with pencil beforehand. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I know that I want it to be pretty and pleasing to my eyeballs, but I don't want to go crazy. But a lot of people make these very beautiful, very elaborate, time-consuming spreads, and while that's awesome and I'm jealous of it, I just don't have the time nor the patience to do that. And just realistically, that's not the vibe I want for my bullet journal. I want it to be cute and fun and a little bit artistic, because I'm a little bit artistic, but I need it to be practical and something that I am not afraid of using every day and not afraid of making a mistake in, and something that I feel like I can go to for anything that I need. Had a balance between fun, artistic, yet simple and practical. So let's begin. I am not a huge fan of the checkers. And that's not really a problem. It's not like I ever really look at the inside cover too much, but I don't know. I just have different intentions for my notebook going into 2024. And so we just got to start it off strong. So I was thinking I wanted to put something on the inside cover. I could print out a picture, do a lot of things, but I decided to paint something because I never paint anymore and I wanted to give it a shot. So I painted something that I'll post all my reference image and stuff down below, because I can't come up with any of this. So most of it's just inspired by other pictures. And I'm thinking I'm going to paste it there just to sort of set the vibe for this journal. So save that for later. I'm just going to start with just pencil work. All right. And now we just gotta basically put pen to paper here. Something that I wanted to include in my journal this year is some watercolor. So I think this opening, very simple 2024 opening page, I'm gonna do in watercolor. Something that I got this year, which I'm really excited about, are these fancy washi tapes, and I think I'm going to include them in my spreads. Some really pretty tape. I am not 100% sure on how to use these. Like, is it stickers or do I like cut them out? I think this one is stickers, but I don't know about this one. This one's PET tape, which I've never used before. I don't know if I cut it out or I have no idea. So it's time to break out my really old, crusty watercolors. All right, I gotta figure out how to use these. Isn't that so pretty though? Is it a sticker? How do you use it? So it is, I don't know if you can see that, a sticker. The whole sheet is a sticker. That is the cover page done. Am I happy with it? Yeah. I ended up finding that the best way to peel the stickers was just using my X-Acto knife and gently poking at the edge until I could peel it away with the knife. So my next spread is a future log. I always have a future log. I think a future log is beneficial for planning purposes. That way you can look at your year, see what it looks like. There's specific important events, birthdays that you need to plan out. This is the place to do it. This year I went ahead and got a print out of every month as opposed to handwriting it because I thought it would save me some time. So we'll see. My future log is taking up more spreads than it normally would. Normally it's like maybe a 2-page full spread, but now it's taking up several pages. But that's okay. I'm not really worried about that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to glue these down, these calendars, and then we're gonna have this space underneath where I can list out the stuff that's going on in that month. Moving on to the next spread, which is a save for later space, which is the simplest spread that I make. It's basically just a brain dump space, a space for me when I'm having racing thoughts, all of these ideas and things that I want to do or need to do or things to try, things to make, things to whatever, but yet they're not ideas that I can act on in any foreseeable future. So it's like, oh, that's a good idea. I want to do that, but I can't do it today. I can't do it this week. Maybe I can plan it for next month or whatever. So it goes in this basically brain dump space. And that way I can get it out of my brain and onto paper, but have it somewhere so I can remember what I was thinking about. All right, there we go. Very simple, just a place where I can write anything I want. The next spread is gonna be my gratitude log and my monthly favorites. I added this little extra piece that I taped in. Every month I like to track my habits, and something that I started doing last year was having like a focus or like a challenge where it's like I want to do this thing specifically every day. An example of that would be like I normally read every day, but a monthly challenge would be to read 50 pages every day, or something like I've been really struggling with getting a good amount of sleep, so this month I'm going to prioritize and put a focus on my sleep. This is the spot we're all right write down what my monthly focus is. And then on the other side, I have something called Level 10 Life, which I like to do. There's 7 rows, and each of the rows I will label as an area in my life. So an area of my life like work, my fitness, my mental health, my relationship, 7 different areas of my life. And then this is something I'm going to fill out obviously at the beginning of 2024. And then I give each of those areas of my life a rating out of 10 at that time. So at the beginning of 2024, on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I feeling in my fitness or in my mental health? I like to do it halfway through the year, and then I do it at the end of the year as well. So I get a snapshot of where I was at the start of the year, what has increased, decreased, or stayed the same by the middle of the year, and then by the end of the year. I just think it's fun to look at. I like using rainbow colors in it, and it's just a fun, cool graph to look at. And then on the other side is going to be my monthly favorites. That is the spread all done. My next spread is going to be a when did I last and a mood tracker. Right, this is that spread done. I have more calendars printed out, just the 6th January to June. And then I have a little key down here, so I will just put a dot on the date that whatever I want to keep track of is done, simple there. And then I have a mood tracker on the other side here. I don't usually keep a yearly mood tracker because it seems kind of daunting, but reflecting back on this past year, I think it would be really interesting to look at how my moods and energy fluctuate, and if it's correlated in any sort of way, or if my moods are purely random. So I think this would be fun to see if I keep up with it and do it successfully, but I don't know if I will like that. But if we come back at the end of the year and see how I did it, I'm sure I will have thoughts. I still have a handful of spreads left to do. I think this is the last spread for today because I'm running out of time and I'm tired. It's the 3rd day that I'll be working on this, and I would really like to get it done today. So the next spread is my 2023 in review. So I just have a space to write down 5 highlights of the year, 5 disappointments, 3 things that I focused on this year, 3 things that happened that were game changers throughout the year, and 3 things that I forgot about. 3 things that I might have said I was going to focus on or said I wanted to do but didn't. And then over here is just kind of like a mind map space. In 2023, things that I learned, stuff that I didn't have enough of, new things in my life, favorite things in my life, and just any fun events or memories that I want to write on here. Moving on to the next spread. Since we've reviewed 2023, now we need a goals page for 2024. I haven't decided, since there's still a couple weeks left in December, I still have time to think about this, but I haven't decided what categories exactly I'm going to put. I don't like to just have one giant list of goals. I like to break them up into categories. So like a fitness category. So any like goals regarding my health. That could be weight, it could be lifting goals, running goals, any sort of fitness goals. You could have a work category, a social category, whatever kind of categories fit you. So closer to the new year, I'll probably decide what those categories are going to be. And moving on, I have my reading log. So usually in years past, I've squished it all in one half of the page, but that wasn't going to work again for me this year. So I just have a place where I can write all of the book titles. And then a new thing that I'm doing this year is I'm going to try and rate my books. To help me with that, I have this little add-in here where I just give myself a guide as to like what would get 5 stars, what would get 4, what would get 3, 2, and 1. That way it helps me think about it. And then in these boxes, I like to usually track how many pages I read each month and average that number. So on average, how many pages I was reading a day. Since I had extra space, I decided to do a genre tracker. This is also new for me. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't really care about the diversity of the genres that I'm reading. I just read what I like. That is it for those two trackers. Next up is going to be another reading tracker. I like to track the books of the Bible that I read. I haven't figured out a better way to do it other than this. How I plan to use this tracker, I left the boxes open. I have dot pens and I just plan on dotting each chapter into the boxes. So I'll just put a dot in there when I read it. Next up, our final tracker for the day is going to be just a video and content tracker. I've been really enjoying making videos and I like to keep track of when I upload and have a space for video ideas. It's actually going to be the same style of tracker as my mood tracker, but obviously the key is going to be different. And the last couple extra things that I wanted to include were a calendar pasted at the front that I could flip out. When I'm doing my monthly setups, I'm always like, crap, I need to know what the month looks like. I thought including a little fold out at the front where I could easily have it visible while my journal is open would be really helpful. And then I also made these little stencils and rulers to use to help try and make monthly setups go faster. I made a stencil for what a traditional calendar week would look like because I make it the same size every month. My calendar boxes are 4x4 little squares and then a whole week. That way I can just place the stencil down, trace it lightly with a pencil. That way I don't have to count anymore. So I made a little pocket in the front for that. I also made this ruler, not really for when I'm setting up my journal, but when I'm setting up my husband's journal, I section off the weeks in a particular spacing that he likes. And instead of having to count and like flip back and forth and compare with the previous month, I just made a little ruler. That way I can just line it up on the paper, sketch it out, know what I'm trying to do, and hopefully it's going to save me some time. I did fill in the title page with my name. And then since I added all of this extra stuff on the inside, I clearly could not put the picture that I painted right there, but that's okay because I had an extra spot on the first spread. So I just got some photo corners. That way I wasn't putting any adhesive on the actual painting. That way I can remove it and put it somewhere else that I can look at it. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I finally finished my New Year setup for my journal. However, it's not the end of the stuff I need to do to prepare for the next year because I still need to set up January. That is not for this video. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching me set up my bullet journal for 2024, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!